Alright guys, so now that we added our access control to the posts, now we want to fetch the post from the database through a model. So let's go to models, and we want to create a new file called post.php. Okay, it should be singular, and then we're going to say class post. Okay, now remember, if we want to use the database, then we want to create a private property called DB, and then create a constructor. Okay, and then in here we're going to say this DB equals new database, like that. We're going to instantiate the database, and then we're going to create a function called get posts. All right, so in this function, let's see what we want to do. It's going to be pretty simple. Actually, we're gonna have to do a join as well, because not only do we want the post data, but we want the user data associated with that post. But we'll do that after. Let's first just get the post. So we'll say this DB query, and we're going to pass in here select all from posts. All right, now this is going to give us an array of objects back, so we're going to put this into a variable called results. We're going to set it to this DB, and then remember we had that method called result set. Okay, and that's used to return more than one row. And then we're just going to return results like that. And then we should be able to use that model function, or that model method, inside of our controller. So let's go back to our post controller, and we're going to load the model in the constructor. So let's say this, we'll say this post model equals this model post. Okay, and then above the data in the index, say get posts. We're going to create a variable called posts, set it to this post model get posts. Okay, and that should grab the post for us, and then we're going to pass it in here into our array. So we'll call this post, and then we'll set it to that variable. All right, so then we should have access to those posts inside of the index view. So let's go to the index view inside the post folder, and since this is an array, we're going to have to loop through them. Okay, so let's go under, we're going to go under this row, so right here, and we're going to say PHP for each. Okay, we're going to do a for each loop. Let's end it. And in here, we're going to say for each. Now remember, it's in data posts. So for each data posts as post. Okay, and then in here, let's put each one inside of a Bootstrap card. So we're going to have a card class. Let's also give it a class of card-body. And then I want to separate them. I'm going to give it a class of margin bottom 3. All right, so each post will be put into a card like this. And then we're going to have an h4 with the class of card-title. And in the h4, we can PHP echo post title, like that. All right, so let's go ahead and test that out. We'll save it. We'll go back to post and reload. And there we go. We get post 1 and post 2. All right, let's add a little bit of space here under this row. So let's see where we have row. I'm just going to add MB margin bottom 3. I love these margin and padding classes in Bootstrap 4. So we know that we can fetch our posts. So let's see, what else do we want in here? Now I'm going to want to put the author's name and stuff like that. So let's see. We're going to go under the H4 and let's put a div. We'll give it a class of BG light to give it like a gray background. Should be a dot here. So a class of BG light, and let's also give it a class of P-2 for padding 2. That'll add padding all around, and then margin bottom 3. All right, and then in here, I basically want to say like written by, and then the username, but the username is not inside of the post table, and that's all that we've gotten. If we look at our post model, we're just selecting all from posts, and the name is not in there, the username. So what we have to do is we need to create a join. Okay, we need to join in the users table. And there's a small issue with this, and that is that both the users table and the post table, they have an ID field. So we need to create basically an alias for the post and user ID fields. So try to follow along with me. We're going to say select all from posts. I'm going to put this stuff on separate lines. Select all from posts. Well, actually, we're going to say select all, comma, and then we're going to do our aliases for the IDs. So we're basically going to say posts. So from the post table dot ID, we're going to select that as post ID, like that. All right, then we're going to put a comma, and we're going to do the same thing for users dot ID as user ID. All right, and then we're going to do from posts, and then we need to join in the users table. So we're going to use an inner join. Oops, inner join users, and then we need to figure out where we want to join them. So we're going to say on where posts dot user underscore ID. Okay, remember our post, that there's a column called user underscore ID. So that should equal the user's ID value. Okay, so those should match. That's where we're going to join them. And then I'm also going to throw in an order. So order by post dot created at, and then that's going to be descending. Okay, that way we have the most recent post first. Now the reason I did post dot created at is because both users and posts, both tables have a created at column, so I wanted to make sure that I specify that I want it to be the post one. All right, so let's save that. Now we should be able to access user data within the post view. So right here, where I put this user, I should be able to put in PHP echo post, and then I should be able to access the name value from the users table because we joined that table in. All right, so let's just test that out and see if that worked. So let's reload. Let's see, unknown column users I date. Wait a minute. I date. Should be ID. All right, I don't know why I did that. Let's reload. There we go. So now we get written by Brad Traversy. So it's joining the users table with the post table. All right, so let's go back to our view and finish it up. So we're going to say written by, and then let's do on, and then we can get the date by saying PHP echo post created at. Let's see if that works. All right, cool. So now we're getting the date. Which again, I don't think we are actually getting the date, because 11:08, if we look at the post time, it's actually 11:47, and what I'm guessing is happening is that it's getting the users. Since we joined in users and it has created at, it's getting that. So we're going to have to go ahead and add another alias for the created at. Now you could have gotten around this by using different field names, but it's good to know how to do this anyway. So let's say posts dot created at as, we'll say post created, and then we'll do the same thing for users dot created at as user created. So now we'll go back to our view, and we should be able now to access post created. Okay, let's go back and reload, and now we get the 11:47. So let's go finish this up in our view. Oops. We're going to go under this div here, and let's put in a paragraph with the class of card-text, and in here we're going to put the body, so we'll say PHP echo post body, and then under that we're going to put a link. So this will be an A tag. We'll give it a class of btn and a class of btn-dark, and then the href is going to go to our URL root, slash posts slash show slash, and then we want to put in the ID. So we'll say PHP echo post, and remember we gave it an alias of post ID, like that. All right, and let's see, for the text we just want it to say more. So let's go ahead and save and go back and reload, and there we go, we get the body and we get our more button. So that's going to be it for the index view. Now in the next video, what I want to do is start working on the add post. We want this to take us to a form so that we can add a post through our application.